The sexual impulse is the most cunning of human passions, a chain disguised as salvation. Schopenhauer. I didn't see the chain until her smile became my air. I was 27, standing in a crowded bar, the hum of voices fading as her eyes met mine. Her laugh was a spark, igniting a hunger I thought was love. My chest tightened, my pulse a drumbeat I couldn't silence. I believed her beauty was a map to a place where I'd finally feel whole, her gaze a mirror to prove I existed. I built her a throne in my mind, carved from every boyhood dream I'd buried, dreams of being enough. But the throne was a cage, and her smile wasn't light, it was a lure, pulling me into a labyrinth of my own making. Now I sit in a dimly lit room, the silence thick with truths I've dodged. My phone is dark, no longer a window to her world. I used to scroll through her photos, each curve and angle a hook sinking into my soul. I thought I was chasing her, but I was chasing a reflection, a man I thought she'd validate. The wound isn't her absence. It's the realization that I handed her the power to define me. Her eyes were my mirror, and I begged them to show me someone worthy. But mirrors lie, and hers showed a stranger, a man who bent, who bled, who believed her approval could make him real. The truth cuts like glass. This was never about her. It was about me, starving for a self I couldn't find. I'd look into her mirror and see only fragments, never whole, never enough. Now the shards are falling, and I'm starting to see. Not her, me. If you've ever bent for her gaze and called it love, this story might be yours too. Subscribe if you're ready to face the mirror you've been avoiding. Her first glance was a drug, her laugh a needle in my veins. I remember sitting in my car at dusk, the city lights blurring, her photo glowing on my phone. Her lips curved just so, her eyes promising a world I'd never reach. My hand trembled as I typed a message I'd never send, each word a plea for her to see me. I wasn't in love. I was addicted. Her attention was a hit, her silence a withdrawal that left me hollow. I'd refresh her feed, hunting for a sign she'd noticed me, each like a crumb in a famine of meaning. I didn't love her. I craved her gaze like a man lost in a desert craves a mirage. The room felt like a prison, the air heavy with waiting. I'd stare at her posts, her body angled for maximum impact, her captions teasing. If my curves want attention, who am I to stop them? Each image was a calculated ambush, designed to make me ache. I told myself it was desire, but it was starvation, a hunger for validation I thought only she could feed. I'd check my phone at 3 a.m., the silence a blade carving out pieces of me. I was a ghost in her world, haunting her edges, invisible unless I performed. And perform I did. Every text, every laugh, every carefully crafted reply, a desperate cry. See me. Choose me. Make me real. But her mirror was cruel. It showed only what she wanted, a man who'd chase, who'd break, who'd reflect her power. I was a pawn in her game, and I played willingly, thinking it was love. Did I want her, or did I just want to be seen? In the ashes of my obsession, I found Kant, his words a cold light in the fog. He taught me I didn't want her mind, her soul. I wanted her softness to soothe my ache, her beauty to fill my void. I wasn't chasing her. I was chasing a reflection of my own unhealed wounds. Jung's voice was sharper, whispering of the anima, this feminine shadow within me, projected onto her like a film on a cracked screen. She wasn't a woman. She was my longing, my fear, my need to be whole, dressed in her skin. Nietzsche cut deeper. That which is done out of love takes place beyond good and evil. My love wasn't sacred. It was a bargain, a deal with my own emptiness. I'd lie awake, the ceiling a map of my questions. Why did her approval feel like oxygen? Why did her silence feel like death? The philosophers didn't answer. They held up mirrors, forcing me to see the man I'd become. A man who'd traded his fire for her glance, his truth for her lie. Schopenhauer warned that beauty is a mask, a lure for the will to bind us. Her mirror wasn't truth. It was a trap, showing me a man who knelt, who begged, who thought her eyes could make him real. But mirrors can be turned. I started to see not her reflection, but mine. Not the man she wanted, but the man I'd buried. Kant, Jung, Nietzsche. They weren't teachers. They were surgeons, cutting away the illusions I'd clung to. What did I see in her that I couldn't find in myself? This started long before her, in the shadows of my childhood. My mother's smile was my first mirror, her approval my first currency. I learned to shrink, to soften, to please, burying the beast inside me. Her disappointment was a cage, and I carried it into manhood, performing for every woman who crossed my path. I became what they wanted, gentle, attentive, safe, while the man I was meant to be starved. Every compliment I earned cost a truth I swallowed. I became her idea of me and lost myself. Jung called it the anima, this feminine ghost haunting my soul. I saw her in every woman, a goddess to worship, a savior to chase. But she was never real. She was my mother's echo, my boyhood fears, my need to be seen. I wore a mask for her, polished and perfect, but it was a leash I tied myself. I submitted quietly, thinking it was strength. I was wrong. Strength isn't performance. It's silence, the courage to stand alone, to face the mirror without her eyes. I'd stand before my own mirror, searching for the man I'd buried. The reflection showed a stranger, hollow, haunted, a boy playing at manhood. I'd given her my power, my truth, my fire, not because she asked, but because I needed her to see me. The mask wasn't hers. It was mine, crafted from my own wounds. Have I mistaken obedience for intimacy? Did she change, or did I just stop pretending? When she pulled away, it wasn't a moment. It was a shattering. I saw it in her eyes, the shift from warmth to indifference, like a door slamming shut. I sat in my apartment, the walls pressing in, her last message glowing on my phone. I just need space. Space. As if I hadn't already given her my soul, my spine, my everything. I wanted to scream, to beg, but the words choked in my throat. Instead, I felt the weight of every moment I'd spent chasing her shadow, every text, every glance, every piece of myself I'd carved away to fit her frame. The mirror cracked and I saw the truth. I hadn't lost her. I'd lost me. The collapse wasn't loud, it was quiet, like a bone breaking under pressure. I'd lie on my couch, the city humming outside, but inside, silence, a silence that screamed. I'd scroll through our chats, each word a ghost of the man I'd been. I'd built her a pedestal, but it was my prison. I'd tied the leash, locked the cage, and called it love. Her mirror showed a man who knelt, who bled, who thought her approval could make him whole. But it was my mirror now, and it was merciless. It showed a stranger, hollow, haunted, a man who'd betrayed himself. Schopenhauer's words echoed, "The will deceives us, pushing us into desire only to abandon us in suffering." I'd been deceived not by her, but by me. I'd chased her reflection, thinking it was salvation, but it was a chain. The night I deleted her number, the stars were sharp outside my window. I didn't cry, I didn't rage. I just sat, the engine off, the silence a blade cutting away the lies. I wasn't angry at her. She was just a mirror, reflecting my own hunger. I was angry at myself for believing the reflection was real. The clarity was brutal. I'd given her my power not because she demanded it, but because I needed her to see me. I'd performed, submitted, shrunk, thinking it was love. But love doesn't starve you, it feeds you. Love doesn't break you, it builds you. I'd been chasing a fantasy, and the fallout was mine. The mirror was mine now, and I was starting to see, not her, not the man she wanted, but the man I'd buried, the man I could still become. Have you walked this fire? Say it out loud, drop it in the comments, so no man thinks he's crumbling alone. I returned to that bar, her smile no longer oxygen, but a drug I don't need. It didn't save me, it sedated me, kept me from the truth. I don't hate her. I don't blame her. She was a mirror reflecting my wounds, my hunger, my need to be seen. But I see clearly now. Her eyes were never my salvation. They were my distraction. I don't need her gaze to feel whole. I don't need her approval to exist. The mirror is mine, and it shows a man who's learning to stand. I walk through the city at dawn, the streets quiet, the air cold against my skin. Her image doesn't haunt me. It fades like a shadow in sunlight. I want love, not illusion. Connection, not performance. I want a woman who doesn't need my worship, who doesn't trade in masks. And if she doesn't come, I'll still be here, whole, not because of her, but because of me. The mirror isn't hers anymore. It's mine, and I'm starting to recognize the man looking back. If this stirred something ancient in you, share it. Not for the algorithm, but for the brother who's still chasing her shadow. This is dark Psyphoria, where the illusion dies, and something older than memory rises to take its place. Thank you for watching. Walk your path with quiet strength.